Everyone thought my wife Lucy died in a car crash, but I was the only one who knew the one who died was actually her sister Anna, and Lucy used that fake death to disappear and run off with her so-called first love, Tom. I played dumb and even helped erase her legal identity. Then, as her spouse, I took over all her shares and positions in the company and cleaned house fast. In my previous life, I exposed the whole switch on the spot, but she shamelessly leaned into Tom's arms. Brother-in-law, my sister's gone. I know you're hurting, but look closely. I'm Anna. With her whole family egging them on, I got painted as the crazy live-in son-in-law obsessed with his sister-in-law, and they had me locked in a psych ward. When I opened my eyes again, I was back at the exact moment the identity swap was done. The funeral home's air was cold and still. My wife Lucy stood off to the side with her eyes lowered, fingers slightly curled. Take care of yourself, brother-in-law. My sister's death was so sudden. The body on the gurney was Anna, but everyone believed it was my wife, killed in a car accident. I stared at the light brown birthmark half hidden by Lucy's collar. In my last life, that tiny detail dragged me straight into hell. The moment I confronted her, she panicked and hid behind Tom, crying her eyes out. Jack, get a grip, my sister's gone, I'm Lucy! Tom, the man she'd always been obsessed with. My dear brother-in-law slammed me against the wall, called me crazy, and accused me of lusting after my wife's sister. Our 4-year-old daughter, Lily, clueless as ever, reached for his sleeve. He shook her off like she was trash and coldly spat out, "No manners." The next day, Lily and I were thrown out of the family home under the excuse that I was mentally unstable and needed to be isolated for treatment. In the last winter of that life, Lily was so hungry in my arms, she didn't even have the strength to cry. She just whispered, "Daddy, I'm cold." A chill shot up from the soles of my feet, but I slowly let out a shaky breath and forced the bloodshot rage in my eyes back into a dull, exhausted gray. Yeah, it was way too sudden. My voice came out rough, like sandpaper. I turned to the staff beside me, sounding grief-stricken. Please follow the process and cremate her as soon as possible. Let my wife go with dignity. Lucy immediately looked up, a little too quickly. Right, the sooner the better. It'll give my sister peace. I'll handle the rest. I stood alone under the harsh white lights, staring at that unfamiliar body on the gurney. My wife was using her sister's name to walk toward the future she'd always wanted, a future with Tom in it. Slowly, I raised my hand. In the end, all I did was pull the white sheet back over the corner that had slipped, covering that cold face. Lucy was legally dead now. And you, my dear, had better learn to live as Anna from here on out. I'll personally clear every obstacle out of your way and make sure you stay steady on this stolen road. At the family get-together after the memorial, the atmosphere was stiff. Tom sat at the head of the table like he owned the place, with Lucy leaning against him. He poured me a cup of tea, graceful as ever, but there was a test in his tone. Brother-in-law, Lucy passed so suddenly, there are still some things she never got to explain. That company she started before marriage, Rising Culture if I remember right, it was doing pretty well. As her only sister, maybe I should help manage it for a while. It was her hard work, after all. Tom gently patted the back of her hand, but his eyes stayed on me. My hand froze around the teacup. When I looked up, my eyes were still red, my voice hoarse. Rising Culture, you mean that company? I set down the cup and rubbed my brow without thinking, worn out and drained. That company quietly went under 3 years ago. Bad management, buried in debt. It was nothing but an empty shell. The concern on Lucy's face instantly froze. Shut down? No way. She mentioned company projects to me last year. Mentioned what? How she was patching one hole by opening another? Or how she was pouring her own money into it to keep it alive? I cut her off, my voice rising like she'd hit a raw nerve. She only hid it because of that pathetic little pride of hers. She didn't want you and Tom thinking she was a total failure without the family and without this marriage. I watched her and Tom's faces shift and my heart went cold. She's gone now. I never wanted to bring up something this humiliating. I lowered my head, my shoulders sagging, and my voice dropped with pure exhaustion. Sis, Lucy's gone. Lily and I really have nothing left to lean on now. If you still care about family at all, please at least help look after Lily a little. I'd be truly grateful. As for everything else, it's gone. She burned through all of it herself. With those words, I placed Lily and myself exactly where we needed to be, the helpless victims. A few of the older relatives on the side of the family sighed and shook their heads, and the way they looked at Lucy and Tom changed. Still trying to take things from a widower and a child at a time like this? That's just ugly. Lucy's face flushed white, then red, and the grief she had so carefully put on almost cracked. She could only force out, I didn't know it was like that. Tom shot me a dark look, pulled Lucy into his arms and softened his tone. All right, Anna, don't be upset. We'll take care of Jack and Lily. We can talk about the rest later. I sneered inside, but on the outside I just nodded tiredly, said nothing, and buried my grief even deeper. Back at the villa we were staying in for the time being, Lily rubbed her little head against my neck. She mumbled, "Daddy, does Mommy not want me anymore?" "No, sweetheart, you just got confused." I pressed my face to her soft hair. "Mommy turned into a star. That was your aunt. She just looks like her." That afternoon, I personally took the full set of documents to several offices. Lucy's official records were canceled, and her death was entered into the system. Every legal trace of her existence in this world was erased, line by line, item by item. Then I contacted the legal team and executive office at the Lou Group, my voice grieving but steady. "This is Jack. My wife Lucy died in an accident. Under her will and as Lily's sole guardian, get the paperwork ready. I'm taking over all of her duties and decision-making authority immediately. I want the transfer order done as fast as possible." At the same time, the huge payout from Lucy's accidental death insurance, per my instructions, was placed directly into a new trust fund I set up for Lily, with extremely strict guardianship controls and layers of paperwork for any withdrawal. When I got back to the Liu family estate, my mother-in-law Emma's shrill voice stabbed through the air like an ice pick. Just a useless little girl, a burden. Bad luck just looking at her. She's just like her worthless father, both of them here to bleed us dry. I stopped in my tracks and looked up. In the middle of the living room, Lily was standing there alone on the thick carpet. At her feet was a tipped-over ceramic teacup. A brown tea stain had spread across her light-colored sock. She kept her head down, both little hands clenched at her clothes, her tiny body stiff. Emma lounged against an expensive velvet sofa, worry beads rolling through her fingers, while her eyes cut across Lily like knives, full of open disgust. "What are you standing there for? Clean up the mess you made. Seriously, no manners." "Lily!" I called out. My voice wasn't loud, but the whole room seemed to freeze. My daughter jerked her head up, tears instantly filling her big eyes. She ran to me and wrapped herself tightly around my leg. She could feel that ugly hostility. I picked her up. The damp tea stain soaked into my sleeve. I didn't even look at Emma. I just asked Lily, "Did it burn you?" "Well, look who came back, our precious live-in son-in-law." Emma set down her beads, dragging out every word, dripping with mockery. "What, you came back to defend your little burden? Did I say anything wrong? What's the point of raising a girl? Total waste of food. If Lucy had given birth to a son?" I cut her off, my voice flat. "Lily is my daughter, not some burden. If we're not welcome here, then we'll leave." "Leave? Dream on." Emma sat up straight, every wrinkle in her face sharp with malice. "Tom's frail. He needs someone taking care of him. I've already arranged for a nanny from overseas. If you don't pay for it, who will? You and that girl have been living off this family for years. Now Lucy's gone, and you think you can just wash your hands of everything? No way." Right on cue, Tom let out a weak cough and walked out from the side sitting room. Lucy followed right beside him, holding warm water and waiting on him carefully. Only after he drank did he frown at me and speak in a disapproving tone. "Brother-in-law, Mom's hurting too. She just got a little worked up. Lily's still a child. She didn't mean to knock anything over. But Tom's health really does come first right now. You're still part of this family, after all. Now that Lucy's gone, it's only right for you to carry a little more of the load at home." I looked at the three of them. What a warm, loving little family portrait. "I won't dodge the responsibilities that are mine," I said slowly, my eyes sweeping over Lucy. "But Lily is my line in the sand. If anyone says one more word against her, don't blame Jack for not playing nice." After that, I ignored them, carried Lily upstairs, and kept walking. But when I passed the stair landing, the door to the small terrace was slightly open, and their hushed voices drifted out again. "Relax. Mom's all bark. Deep down, she still cares about me. To her, I'm the only daughter now." There was a faint smug edge in Lucy's voice. "I'm sorry you have to use someone else's name." Tom's voice was gentle. "For you, it's worth it. Jack and Lily are a problem, but no rush. We'll take it slow. Isn't he supposed to shoulder the burden now? We'll figure something out." My arms tightened slightly around Lily. Lucy must have sensed something. She gently patted my back. When we got back to the guest room we were staying in, I closed the door and set her on the bed. I crouched down and carefully checked her socks and feet, making sure the hot tea hadn't burned her. She looked at me and asked softly, "Daddy, why doesn't Grandma like me? Is it because I'm not a boy?" Her words felt like a needle stabbing deep into my chest. I rubbed her head and told her it wasn't her fault. Some people are just rotten inside. Early the next morning, the transfer order and the official project launch notice arrived, and I didn't hesitate for a second. I started packing up the last of our things. We had to get out of this mess fast. I had a small bag in one hand and Lucy's hand in the other when footsteps sounded behind me. Anna was standing halfway down the stairs, looking down at the suitcase in my hand, her expression darkening. "Where do you think you're taking Lucy?" I folded up the launch notice for the Sucheng project and slipped it into the inner pocket of my suit jacket, then subtly moved Lucy behind me. "Where I'm taking her isn't something I need to report to you, Miss Anna." I looked at that face, familiar and strange at the same time, and kept my tone flat. Anna visibly stiffened for a second, then frowned. "Come on, don't say that. You're taking Lucy somewhere that far all by yourself. You don't know anybody there. What if something happens? You won't even have anyone to help you. Stay here. At least Mom, Tom, and I can look out for you." I cut her off and tried to walk around her, still holding Lucy's hand. "From now on, what happens to me and my daughter is none of your concern." She suddenly reached out, grabbed the strap of the briefcase hanging from my arm, and yanked hard. I was caught off guard and she snatched the bag away. She unzipped it fast and started digging through it. A second later, she pulled out the project launch notice with the company letterhead and official seal. She glanced at it, and her face instantly darkened. Without a moment's hesitation, she grabbed both sides of the document. Rip. She tore it clean in half. "I'm doing this for your own good, Jack. You haven't worked in years. You're better off staying here and keeping your head down. It'll be better for everybody." I looked at the torn pages scattered across the floor. That was my way out, and a key part of my plan. Rage slammed through my chest, but I only raised my eyes and met her stare coldly. "For my own good? Anna? No. I should be calling you Emma now. What gives you the right to say that?" Her eyes darkened instantly. She stepped closer and lowered her voice, all that fake gentleness gone. "Jack, don't push it. Don't forget who's been feeding you and that little girl all these years. Not one grain of rice, not one drop of water in this house came free. And now that Anna's gone, you think you can cut ties and walk off with this family's bloodline? You don't get off that easy." I almost laughed. "Feeding us? In my last life, when Lucy was critically sick, I knelt outside their gate begging for help. Who was it that had the guards throw me out like a dog? And now that I was leaving, suddenly they wouldn't let me go. I let out a cold laugh, my eyes sharp as knives. Who was it that couldn't wait to grab control of the company? Anna's expression shifted. She forced herself to stay calm, and when she spoke again, her tone softened. But there was still a trace of testing in it. Jack, do you have the wrong idea about me? We're family. Now that my sister's gone, I should be the one taking care of you and Lucy for her. The only thing I got wrong was ever thinking you people were even human. Before the words had even finished leaving my mouth, I raised my hand and let all that pent-up force go in one hard slap. The sharp crack echoed through the empty entryway. Anna's head snapped to the side, and she stumbled into the heavy door behind her. A bright handprint quickly rose on her face. She whipped her head back around, the shock in her eyes instantly turning into twisted hatred. Jack, how dare you hit me? She dropped all pretense and lunged at me, clamping both hands around my wrist. Her long nails almost dug into my skin as she tried to drag me back toward the living room. You're not walking out that door today. Security, somebody get in here. Lucy started crying. I shielded my daughter with one hand and tried to shake Anna off with the other. She was shockingly strong, or maybe it was just the kind of madness that comes when someone's cornered. Right in the middle of the struggle, the heavy front door, which normally stayed locked and had to be opened through the intercom system, slowly swung open from the outside. The afternoon sun flooded in, way too bright, outlining several figures standing in the doorway. The man in front was tall and carried the calm authority of someone used to being in charge. His gaze swept across the entryway. It finally landed on Anna, one side of her face swollen red, hair a mess, still clutching at me. Anna froze on the spot. Every movement, every sound, cut off at once. The twisted look on her face locked in place, then slowly drained into a sickly white. Backlit by the sun, the man stepped into the entryway. The light traced the clean lines of his perfectly tailored suit. It was David, the CEO's chief aide. 2 security officers in company uniforms followed behind him. He didn't have a trace of extra emotion on his face. He just gave me the slightest nod. Mr. Jack, the private jet to Sucheng is ready. The car is outside. Legal and the core project team will meet you at the airport and we can do the briefing in the air. Mr. Jack. The title hit Anna like a needle straight to the nerves. Her grip on my wrist loosened instantly, and she looked at David in disbelief. David, what did you just call him? Mr. Jack? Are you blind? I'm the CEO of this company. Who the hell is he? What makes him worthy of that title? Only then did David fully turn to her. Polite, distant, like he was dealing with a total stranger whose identity still had to be confirmed. He gave a slight nod, his tone flat and professional. Ms. Emma, hello. Following Ms. Anna's death, the board held a vote and officially appointed Mr. Jack as the company's new CEO and acting chairman, effective immediately. He paused, his eyes sweeping across Emma's suddenly bloodless face, then continued in that same, even, emotionless tone. Therefore, everyone at the company, myself included, addressing Mr. Jack as Mr. Jack, is entirely in line with company bylaws and his official position. As for the identity you just mentioned, David's gaze rested on Emma's face for 1 second. His eyes were calm, like he was reviewing a contract clause with a problem in it. My job is to serve the current head of the company. According to the formal appointment and identity notices I received, Ms. Anna has sadly passed away, and you are Ms. Anna's sister, Ms. Emma. There is no employment record under the name Emma in the company's current management structure or shareholder register. So, with all due respect, I have received no instruction requiring me to report to you or confirm any change in the CEO position. Emma completely lost it. She pointed at her own nose, her whole body trembling with rage and panic. I'm Anna. Emma is dead. Emma's the one who died. You've all been fooled. He forged the documents. He's stealing the company. David, get the hell out right now. You're fired. David didn't even twitch a brow. He simply took half a step back.
Ms. Emma, please calm down. Ms. Anna's identity was confirmed through legally binding documents issued by the proper authorities, and the follow-up procedures were personally verified and handled by her immediate family member, Mr. Jack. They carry full legal force.
If your statements amount to disrespect toward the deceased and defamation of the current head of the company, legal will reserve the right to hold you accountable. He stopped looking at Emma, who was shaking so hard she looked close to passing out, then turned back to me and gave a slight bow. Mr. Jack, it's time. The initial team in Sucheng is already in place and they're waiting for you to take over. Miss Lucy's caregiver and child psychologist are also waiting in the car. I nodded, bent down, and picked up Lucy, who was still sniffling softly. I wrapped my coat around her and gently patted her back. From start to finish, I never looked at Emma again. Jack, you can't leave. Give my stuff back. That all belongs to me. It's all mine. I'm Anna. I'm the CEO of this company. Emma's hysterical screams rang out behind me. She tried to lunge again, but the 2 well-trained security officers stopped her at the door, polite but firm. David opened the door to the outside world for me. Sunlight poured all the way in, lighting up the black sedan parked out front. The world outside felt nothing like the decaying, suffocating darkness inside that old mansion. Holding Mia in my arms, I stepped out of the Liu family estate. 3 days later, on the private jet to Sucheng, I was going over the site survey report while Mia slept in the child seat beside me. Tom walked over fast with a tablet in his hand, his face more serious than I'd ever seen before, and turned the screen toward me. Mr. Jack, we've got a problem. About half an hour ago, major social platforms and several finance forums back home all started blowing up with negative posts about you. On the screen was a topic that had already shot into the top 3 trending spots. The Liu Group's new president killed his wife for her fortune. The account pushing it was newly registered but already verified. Its bio read, Lucy's close friend and authorized spokesperson. The account had posted a long statement along with a video. In the video, Lucy, or rather, the woman appearing as Anna, was barefaced in a simple black sweater, eyes swollen, face pale and drained, tears already falling before she even spoke. She looked straight into the camera, her voice breaking with sobs, every word soaked in grief. I can't believe this. I'm Anna, Lucy's twin sister. The second she started talking, tears rolled down her face. My sister? My sister? She didn't just die like that. I was too scared to speak up. I was terrified. But now I can't stay silent anymore. She raised her tear-filled eyes. Fear and accusation were written all over her face as she stared into the camera. Jack, my former brother-in-law is a monster. He planned all of this a long time ago. My sister Lucy didn't die in some simple car crash. It was Jack. He's the one who killed my sister. He came from nothing, married into our family, and for years acted like he would do anything for Lucy. But the whole time, he was after the Liu family's money, using Lucy's trust to secretly move assets and forge documents. Before Lucy's accident, she'd already started noticing something and was getting ready to confront him. And then the crash happened. When I confronted him, he threatened me. He said if I talked, Mia would be next. He used a child to threaten me. I had no choice. All I could do was watch while my sister wasn't even cold yet. And he was already waving around some so-called will from God knows where, taking everything that should have been hers, taking over the Liu Group. He didn't even bother pretending for a few more days. The second the funeral was over, he was already trying to throw me, my mother, and everyone Lucy truly cared about out of the house. He hit me, called me crazy, and wouldn't let me anywhere near Mia. He wanted to erase every trace that Lucy had ever existed. So this murderer could take over the Liu family like it was rightfully his. By this point in the video, she was completely breaking down, almost passing out. Then a man's hands came into frame, gently catching her and handing her a tissue. It was Mike. In a heavy voice, he said, Anna, stop! Your body can't take this. We can't let Lucy die like this with no justice. When the video ended, it automatically jumped to the long statement. Written in Anna's voice, it laid out in detail how I supposedly abused Lucy, planned the crash, and even used our young daughter as leverage. It also claimed that before the first week after Lucy's death was even over, I had already teamed up with outside capital to seize control of the Liu Group. The whole thing was written to stir people up, painting me as a calculating gold-digging freeloader who married rich and played dirty. He killed his wife to cover it up, a heartless social-climbing husband to the core. The comment section has completely exploded. Holy crap, this is like a real-life Gone Girl. No, it's even worse. He even used the kid. Total social climber behavior. Poor Lucy. She really married the wrong guy. I watched the video, and hearing her sister cry absolutely broke my heart. How is this guy not dead yet? He killed his wife for her money. This is unforgivable. Rongcheng police, please investigate him now. No wonder they cremated her so fast. They were trying to destroy the evidence. That's terrifying. Are the board members at the Liu Group idiots? How did they let someone like this become CEO? Girls, dig this scumbag up. His company address, phone number, and even that bastard kid's preschool. Several big-name gossip accounts known for exposing scandals had already started doing deep dives into my past, mapping out my journey from marrying into the family to gradually taking over key parts of the Liu Group's business, then forcibly linking it all to the timing of Lucy's accidental death. They even dragged in an anonymous so-called insider, claiming I was obsessive and extremely controlling, and that Lucy had complained to friends more than once that she wanted a divorce, but was too scared to go through with it. The cabin was eerily quiet, except for the roar of the engines. Mike looked at me, waiting for instructions. There was worry in his eyes, but even more than that, calm. I shut off the tablet and the dark screen reflected my expressionless face. Outside the window, thick clouds stretched endlessly. Above them, the sunlight was blinding. I leaned back and closed my eyes. Lucy, Jack. So, you couldn't wait to play the public opinion card. And wow, that crying act looked pretty convincing. Fine. Let yourselves cry all you want. My counterattack started with one encrypted file package. The execution was flawless. A heavily disguised data packet, masked layer by layer and impossible to trace, was delivered straight to the back end of the core accounts that first spread the rumors, as well as to the inboxes of some of the country's most influential financial reporters and veteran legal bloggers. The file had no title, just a case number. Once opened, it revealed a crystal-clear timeline and a chain of evidence no one could argue with. The first audio clip came from the cloud backup of the dashcam in Lucy's crashed car, captured just before it was sent in for repairs. The background noise suggested it was recorded in a garage, and Lucy's voice sounded tense, excited, and ruthless. Anna has to disappear in an accident. Only when she's completely gone can I take her place and go back to Jack. Tom's that idiot I can use as my stepping stone and my cover. The second item was a set of secret photos of Lucy and Jack at a private club. The timestamp showed they were taken 2 years earlier, 1 week before Lucy and my wedding anniversary. In the photos, the two of them were far too intimate, way beyond the line for a brother-in-law and sister-in-law. Attached behind them were hotel check-in records from the same period, along with overseas spending records showing the two of them traveling and spending together. The third item was a copy of Anna's medical record from a private clinic, dated 1 week before her car crash, along with a statement from her doctor. The record showed Anna was nearly 2 months pregnant at the time, but the pregnancy was unstable, and the doctor strongly advised complete bed rest. She absolutely should not have been traveling long distance. And yet the so-called business trip to inspect the new project was pushed through by Lucy, using the excuse that her sister needed a change of scenery, and Lucy personally arranged Anna's full itinerary. No emotional spin, no subjective accusations, just cold, hard evidence laid out in chronological order. Those revelations were like water splashed into hot oil, instantly setting off a media firestorm 10 times bigger than before. The difference was, this time the eye of the storm completely shifted. The investigative reporters and legal bloggers who got the emails were stunned, but they quickly started cross-checking the facts and reporting carefully. The finance world and high society gossip circles absolutely exploded. Massive plot twist. This was not a wife murder for money case. It was a vicious woman killing her sister, stealing her identity, and going after the family fortune. The year's wildest scandal. The younger twin kills her sister, takes her place, and moves in with her brother-in-law. New evidence points straight at Lucy and Tom, suggesting they staged Emma's car crash, forged a will, moved assets, and even monitored her husband and daughter. Is this woman a monster? Where are all the people who dragged Jack before? You owe him an apology. He wasn't conned by some gold-digging guy. He got bitten by a snake that nearly destroyed the whole family. Public outrage flipped fast. All the hate that had been aimed at the so-called wife-killing opportunist turned into even harsher condemnation of the identity-stealing killer and her cheating brother-in-law. Lucy and Tom's social media accounts were instantly flooded with abuse and demands for the truth. Friends and influencer accounts that had spoken up for them either quietly deleted their posts or got exposed for taking money. It was a complete disaster. More importantly, the same information was delivered to Anna. Mike had someone print and bind the files, complete with color copies of key evidence, and send them straight to the Liu family estate, right into Anna's hands. Reportedly, Lucy and Tom were at the estate at the time, trying to calm Anna down and figure out how to deal with the growing backlash online. Then Anna locked herself in the study for nearly an hour. After that, loud crashing sounds came from inside, followed by raw, hysterical screaming and sobbing. "You animal, Lucy, you animal! How could you do it? She was your sister, your own sister. Emma, my Emma, you died so wrong, I was blind, I did this to you. And you, Tom, you heartless bastard. How has the Liu family ever wronged you? You actually teamed up with this evil girl to kill Emma. The two of you are going to pay. Get out. Both of you, get out. Get out of this family. I never want to see you again. I'm calling the police. I'm going to make you pay for my daughter's life." Then came shouting, shoving, and the sound of even more things smashing. In the end, Lucy and Tom practically fled the Liu family estate in total disgrace, dodging flying vase shards and Anna's vicious curses. Capital City. Temporary headquarters of the Liu City New Energy Base. Outside the massive floor-to-ceiling windows was a modern industrial park, just taking shape, set against the green mountains in the distance. I was finalizing the last grid connection plan with the core project team when the internal line rang. My secretary sounded hesitant. "Mr. Jack, there's a woman downstairs insisting on seeing you. She says she's Lucy. She doesn't have an appointment and she looks very unstable. Security has stopped her, but she refuses to leave." The room went silent. A few executives exchanged glances and quietly put away their files. "Let's pause the meeting for 10 minutes. Bring her to the small reception room on the west side of the first floor. I'll be right down." That reception room was tucked away and hardly ever used. When I pushed the door open, Lucy was standing by the window with her back to me. She was wearing a beige trench coat that looked expensive but badly wrinkled. Her hair wasn't as polished as usual. It was just loosely pinned up, with a few strands falling by her neck. When she heard me, she turned around. It had only been a month, but she'd lost a lot of weight. The dark circles under her eyes were impossible to fully cover, even with makeup. Her once bright, lively eyes were now bloodshot, full of panic like a startled animal. The second she saw me, her lips trembled. Before she could say a word, tears started pouring down, smearing her eyeliner. "Jack," she spoke in a hoarse, broken voice, choking on her tears. She stumbled 2 steps toward me like she wanted to get closer, but froze when she met my cold stare. "Jack, I was wrong. I really know I was wrong." She covered her face, her shoulders shaking hard. She was crying so badly she could barely breathe. It was a total breakdown, ugly and raw. Tom, he's a monster. The second everything fell apart, he dumped all the blame on me. He took the last bit of money I could access and ran. He'd already planned his escape. He even set himself up overseas under a fake identity. He never planned on having a future with me. He was just using me to get my family's resources, using me to get rid of my uncle. He played me so bad. She was sobbing so hard she could barely speak, rambling in broken pieces about Tom's cold betrayal and all the ways he had played her, how he sweet-talked her, and how quickly he dumped her when things went south. She cried over how blind she'd been, how she had let her sister and uncle down, and even more, how she'd wronged me. "Jack, I regret it, I really do." She looked up through her tears, trying to make out my expression through the blur. Her face was a mess, tears, snot, smeared makeup, but there was still this desperate light in her eyes, like she was grabbing for a last lifeline. "I've always loved you. Only you." What happened with Tom was a moment of weakness, some childish obsession I couldn't let go of. I didn't understand it until later. "You're the one who treated me best. You're Anna's father. You're my husband." She tried to step closer, her hand reaching out, fingers trembling. "Can we start over? I don't want anything else anymore. Not the company, not the status. I just want you and Anna. The 3 of us can leave this place, go somewhere no one knows us, and just live a good life. Please, I swear I'll treat you right from now on. I'll be good to Anna too. I'll be a good wife, a good mom. Just give me one more chance." "Jack, please." Her sobs echoed through the empty reception room, full of desperation and pleading. I stayed silent the whole time, Expressionless. No anger, no sympathy. Just a deep, unreadable calm. Only when she'd cried herself nearly limp, almost collapsing, did I finally move. I didn't look at the hand she had reached out. I didn't answer her begging. I just turned around, walked to the side door that connected to the inner hallway, and opened it. Outside, my assistant was holding Anna's hand after bringing her back from her preschool activity class. The moment Anna saw me, her eyes lit up and she threw her little arms open. "Daddy!" I bent down and lifted her into my arms. Anna wrapped her arms around my neck like it was the most natural thing in the world. She peeked curiously into the room at the strange lady whose makeup was ruined from crying. She looked confused, but not scared. She just held on to me tighter. Holding my daughter, I turned back around to face Lucy, who had gone dead silent and was staring at us in shock. Anna's soft little body stood between us, creating the last bit of distance that could still exist. Then I spoke, calm and flat. "Lucy, legally, my wife Lucy is already dead. She's not coming back. And from now on, don't come looking for me again. You know what I'm capable of." The elevator reached the top floor. The doors opened to a sunlit hallway, and the team of assistants waiting for me. I carried her out. My voice faded into the bright light. Some things, once they're lost, are gone for good.